Welcome to Border Life, where you find us in Scotland's highest village. It's Wanlockhead, and as you can see, it's small and relatively isolated. We'll be exploring the challenges this creates.
Doctors were only allowed to be sick on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Ah.
They're here for half an hour, Tuesdays and Fridays, and that's it.
Emma will be riding on the highest railway in Scotland.
Well, this is lovely, isn't it? Especially on a day like today, it's gorgeous.
It really is lovely. You've got the mountains, you've got the fresh air.
We'll also be investigating plans for another wind farm in the hills around here.
I'm not anti-wind farm, but I'm kind of anti being surrounded with them.
First though, Wanlockhead owes its existence to lead mining. In 1792, Robert Burns himself visited this village to explore the mines. Sandy has been following in his footsteps.
Well, mining started way back in 1239. That was the monks from Newbattle Abbey. They were mining lead to put in the monastery roof. And it grew and grew until a few years after that, nearly 1,000 people worked here. All this here was dug by hammer and chisel, pick and shovel. But when they reached about here, they started using explosives, and the lead was pulled out by young boys pulling these sledges. Now the sledge would have weighed maybe 200 or 300 weight. Lead is very, very heavy. But the explosives, it was very basic. It was black powder, gunpowder they used. It would take a miner about an hour to dig a 15-inch hole into that rock, put the powder in. He'd pick up rubble from the floor and pack it, light the fuse and step back. It wasn't a big explosion, just enough to crack the rock so they went in with their picks again and get it out. But a dangerous job though. Mind ahead.
So this is the shaft.
That was one of the shafts that went down. That one goes down 90 feet. And then they found another vein, followed that and went down again.
So what was the deepest mine?
Well, we're 1,500 feet above sea level. Out of the 47 lead mines in here, 23 went below sea level. Just imagine, 1,500 feet. The deeper you go, the wetter it gets, but the warmer it gets. But conditions were absolutely horrendous.
It's hard to imagine what that would have been like.
Very few people can.
If you want to know what's going on in a village, the shop is always a good place to start. These days, there isn't one here in Wanlockhead, alas, but there is a pub, and Emma went along to talk to the locals.
For someone who's never heard of Wanlockhead, how would you describe it? What is it that makes it special? Because it is a special place, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's a very special place. You know, they call it God's treasure house, you know, because of all the different minerals and of course the gold and stuff that comes from here. That they just find it in the burn. There's that much of it. A lot of nice local people, and there's a lot of tourists that come that are, you know, they really want to be here because it's Scotland's highest village, Scotland's highest pub. But if it wasn't for tourism coming to the village, the pub possibly wouldn't survive it. So we need the tourism. Without the tourism, we would struggle.
What's the job situation like in Wanlockhead? How difficult is it for young people to get jobs in this area?
Pretty grim. Yeah, you've got to travel. You've either got to leave here in the morning to go to work or move away to work. Same as I did. You know, I moved away when I was 16 and came back when I was 28. You know, purely because of work.
One project that could possibly breathe life into the village is a wind farm being proposed by Buccleuch Estates. They own the land around here, but turbines are controversial.
I'm not anti-wind farm, but I'm kind of anti being surrounded with them.
The project is to build 42 turbines at this stage on a landscape that is very undulating, limit the amount of impact on particularly Wanlockhead, but any of the other communities. We've had a diversity of reaction. I would say that the most vocal has been one of protest. There are those that were curious but reticent, and it's a question of providing them with more information and a sense that this is a genuine consultation, that their input will be listened to. And then there's a sort of a silent group who may or may not be in favour, but don't feel that at the moment they can express themselves. So I think you get different kinds of reaction. There is an opportunity for some funding to be made available. We can look at bringing the two pieces together to say, well, what can we achieve? So whether it's talking about light railways, mining museums, ski lifts, hotel trade, doing things logistically for the school children, whether it's looking at insulation or providing cheaper energy or community participation. All of these are ideas that have been floated. The question is, how do we put them on the table and understand how do they fit together?
A popular topic of conversation is the possibility of the village purchasing the land it sits on from Buccleuch Estates. It's what's known as a community buyout.
I'm aware that there has been discussion and indeed encouragement from outside to look at the possibility of a community buyout. This is very much in vogue at the moment with the land reform bill having just gone through. It lacks definition as it is today, and it is in some instances not clear what the motivation is. Is it because the ownership is seen to impede a particular idea, or is it this is a tactic in which you can then help to block somebody else's idea?
Well, the community buyout idea came before we knew about the wind farm. So this is not, the buyout is not a protest. It's a completely different thing. Obviously it would be affected by a wind farm. Some of the ideas that have been floated so far have been things like reforesting, which would provide jobs if we set up a plant to produce pellets, and the village could become self-sustainable in energy. We could have perhaps 2 or 3 turbines, not maybe 50 turbines, but 2 or 3, which would provide the village with an income. We could have small business units. These are just ideas. The community, in the end of the day, would decide what it wanted to do and how it wanted to do it.
I think what we've got to do is develop what it is that we want to achieve, what we want to try and deliver, and then look at the landowner and say, well, would it make a difference if the ownership changed or not? And is it the only way to achieve it? So there's no point of principle, yay or nay. I just think the sequence has to be decide what you want to do, gain a consensus on it, and then look at ownership to say, does it help or does it hinder the achievement of it?
One man who's not sure about the wind farm proposal is Davy Duncan. He's lived in Wanlockhead for 28 years.
Hello.
Davy! Haven't we seen you before somewhere?
I think you have, yeah. Come in.
Thank you, thank you.
Nice weak tea.
Oh, that's what I like, nice cup of weak tea.
It could change a village. If it's windmills, we don't want them inside the village. Although I've since joined a bowling club at Abington, and the wind farms have helped them. You can hardly see them, just a tip above the hill. Well, they've just got a £5,000 grant from the windmill fund to buy equipment for the bowling green down there. So it does have its benefits. I just don't want to see them, because I think they're ugly things.
Do you think you can stop them?
Well, if we get the buyout, it might help. We want to buy as far away around the village as we possibly can, so it keeps them back.
Whatever the future of Wanlockhead, its people will always be its most valuable asset. Sandy went along to meet the newest residents. At the heart of the village is the old primary school, now a community centre.
Currently we've got sort of anywhere between sort of 6 and 12 kids on a Friday morning, and I'm sort of involving sort of about 8 or 9 families. We do a range of activities. It's not only a chance for the kids to socialise, but also for the parents as well. Like, we all love living here, but at the same time we are very rural. It's quite remote, and it's good to know that you've got that support network. Yeah, bringing up kids, it's great, but it's not easy.
What originally brought you to Wanlockhead?
I grew up here. I was born here, yeah.
So you were born here and now you've got a new generation coming in as well. Tell us about the kind of environment. What's it like as an environment to bring up kids?
Well, in a city I'd assume you wouldn't be as safe. There's a lot more traffic, there's a lot more strangers, whereas growing up I was able to I could go out first thing in the morning and come back last thing at night, and my mum knew I was safe. Babies born into the village keeps things going. It can't just be older people, the village had just come to a halt then.
So Maxine,
yes,
you're the newest person in the village, aren't you?
Yeah, yes I am. I moved here 6 months ago.
You've got a young daughter. What's it been like being a young mum with a young daughter now?
When we stayed in the city, she didn't go out because we stayed in quite a rough area, and it wasn't quite ideal for my daughter to grow up in, and I didn't really like it. And there was too much drugs and drink involved around that area, and that's how, through there, she wasn't as settled. She was always up and down with nightmares, and she wasn't in a good mood all the time. Through here, she doesn't have any nightmares. She's a lot happier child. She's more settled through here, and she just loves that.
If you look at the hills that surround us here, Wanlockhead is the last place you'd expect to find a train. But in fact, this is home to Scotland's highest railway. After the break, Emma climbs aboard. Welcome back to Wanlockhead. It's remote here, and tourism is key to the village's survival. One of the attractions is Scotland's highest railway. The railway currently starts at nearby Lead Hills.
Ah, so this is where it all starts off.
Indeed, yes. The original railway was built to carry lead. It was opened in 1902 and it carried coal up to the main industries in Lead Hills and Wanlockhead, the smelters, the crushers, and then it would carry lead back down from Wanlockhead down to the junction at the Caledonian Railway at Elvenfoot, and then onwards to the cities of Edinburgh and Glasgow.
And people as well?
People as well in later years, yeah. It was a very important service, you know, long in the days before we had decent roads up here. The railway was really one of the only means to get anywhere relatively quickly.
And what happened to it since then?
The railway finally closed in 1938, and it was partly due to a collapse in the price of world lead. The markets just slumped, and so it wasn't economical to keep it open any longer. The passenger traffic as well, with the advent of the motor car and various other forms of transport, just didn't use it as much as necessary to keep it open. It was abandoned until around 1986, when a group of enthusiasts had gathered together a collection of diesel locomotives from lots of the collieries that were closing at the time around the country, and they needed somewhere to run them. So they built a 2-foot gauge track, and we now have approximately 3/4 of a mile of track.
Well, I'd love to have a look around. Would you show me?
Of course.
Thank you.
Well, Little Clyde was built for Edmund Nuttall and Sons in Leith in 1966, delivered brand new. And since then she has been up to Foyers by Loch Ness side in the hydro project. She's worked in London, she's worked on tunnelling contracts in Southampton, and then she finally came up here to her home in 1987 or so.
So she's a trusty bit of kit then?
Indeed, a true workhorse.
And what is this on the back of her?
Well, this is our brand new tamping machine.
A tamping machine?
A tamping machine.
Right.
Essentially what it does is it puts these prongs down into the track either side of the sleepers, and it packs crushed stone under the sleepers. So it allows the track to be raised up slightly and sit on a bed of crushed stone, which allows for good drainage and a good ride as well.
Very clever. So this looks brand new. Is this a recent acquisition?
It is absolutely brand new, only a few months old, yes. We bought it from a company in France, and we were lucky enough to receive some funding from the Clyde Wind Farm, Clyde Community Wind Farm grant.
Right, so how much would this have cost you?
In total about £24,000.
Isn't it gorgeous? Thank you. Well, this is lovely, isn't it? Especially on a day like today, it's gorgeous.
It really is lovely. You've got the mountains, you've got the fresh air. If you look all the way down the glen there, it's just fantastic.
How many visitors do you get on this train a year?
We have anywhere between 2,500 to 3,500 visitors a year.
And what percentage of that is tourists and what percentage is locals?
The vast majority are tourists. Because of the relatively small size of the villages, there's only so many times the locals can come and ride the train and find it a thrill.
So do the tourists kind of seek this out? Is this something they know about when they come here?
They do tend to seek it out. We're advertised in all the kind of industry booklets and guides, but we don't really have too many passing visitors as you'd expect in a place like this.
Of course, the railway isn't the only tourist attraction here in Wanlockhead. Sometimes these hills can be covered in snow. Sandy's been along to the local ski club. It's an important part of village life. The Lowther Hills Ski Club is run entirely by volunteers. Sandy headed for the hills to meet some of them. Today they're testing the rope tow.
Oh, Arjo. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What amazing view.
It's fantastic, isn't it? There's nothing like this in the south of Scotland. It's community owned. We have lots of fun playing in our hills, and we like people from outside the area to come and see what we have here. And there's a ski lift behind me. Is a 500-meter long rope tow for intermediate skiers. In the village we do have an area for beginners. It's accessible, it's perfect for families. They've got toilets and the pub nearby. And then people who want to have a bit more challenging experience, they come up here and they enjoy this beautiful ski slope.
So what's the future plans for the ski club?
Well, we've got endless wish list. A very important thing, the thing that we need to have up here, which is a standard in every ski centre in Scotland, is the snow fence. The snow fence allows the snow to stay on the ground rather than being blown to the North Sea. And a snow groom. A snow groom is like a tractor which takes those drifts, spreads them on the slope, that snow, and packs them up so that surface can be skiable. this is going to look like a proper ski centre, and the moment that we have that equipment, there's going to be a before and an after for Wanlockhead, yes.
Whatever the weather, the scenery around Wanlockhead has a unique beauty. It's one reason people move to the village.
I just love the place, just the outlook. And I'd met a few folk in the village, and very friendly.
So you move for the view?
Well, yeah, fresh air, peace and quiet. And as far as I know, there was no crime.
It doesn't sound like you get lonely here.
No, don't get lonely.
But it is remote, isn't it?
It is remote, and it has its drawbacks. Doctors were only allowed to be sick on Tuesdays and Fridays. They're here for half an hour, Tuesdays and Fridays, and that's it.
What sort of person do you think would thrive here in Wanlockhead? What do you have to be like to live here?
You've got to be a wee bit independent. You've got to be a bit independent. Take the good with the bad, really, you know. It's the same everywhere, though. I love it.
Where are you taking me, Davy?
There's the community centre.
Community is a word I've heard a lot around Wanlockhead. And at the end of the day, Davy invites me for a game of pool.
Well done. Yes. Now you have to hit another red one.
That's going to be tricky. Wanlockhead may be small, but it's got a big heart. Whatever the future brings, one thing's for sure. You'll always get a friendly welcome in Scotland's highest village. So are you snookered?
Snookered on that one.
Okay, Emma, so this is the permanent collection picture store.
My word, quite a few paintings here.
In the next programme, Emma's on the trail of hidden art. With a bit of digging, it's amazing what treasures you can find. We'll see you next time.